Well, it's 1 a.m. on a Friday, and the mayor's crowd rushes in. There's a rapper sitting next to him, making love to his Moet and Chandon. All right, so I'm not a Billy Joel, but you get the point. Hours later, the 110th mayor of America's largest city stood before the media in his bespoke suit to condemn the resettlements of illegals in New York without his notice. The mayor whined, "We didn't ask for this." Well, apparently the haze of the night before blurred the fact that New York is by choice a sanctuary city, where federal immigration laws are not enforced by local authorities. During his campaign in 2021, Adams actually tweeted his reaffirmation of the city's own open borders. Today he says that we need to, quote, ensure everyone is doing their part. He willfully ignores the Biden administration's secret flights of illegals to New York that began long before Governor Greg Abbott started busing them there. Adams has a standing reservation at a Tony Midtown eatery where he wines and dines famous names. He's a regular at an A-lister members-only club that he reportedly loves so much he named its owner to the board of the Metropolitan Museum. The new mayor turned heads earlier this year at the exclusive Met Gala with a custom tuxedo festooned with a message about ending gun violence. Yeah, that worked. Then there was the Vogue party, where guests sipped scotch that was $2,900 a bottle. The list goes on and on and on. New York's party boy mayor is learning, however, that talking about gun violence, homelessness, and providing sanctuary for illegals at a cocktail party is easy. Turning liberal fantasies into reality, well, that's hard. Adams may be the king of New York nightlife, but his hypocrisy and apparent lack of seriousness is an affront to all New Yorkers bearing the brunt of the crime wave. Bill de Blasio was an unabashed socialist. He was out of his depth and he rolled into the office at 10 a.m. Even Democrats came to realize that he was incompetent. The Big Apple has apparently now traded inept for a limousine liberal right out of Al Sharpton's old playbook of feigned outrage in a $3,000 suit. As of 2021, there were an estimated more than 500,000 illegal immigrants living in New York City and nearly 60,000 homeless residents. Yet Adams claims that he has been blindsided and is buckling under migrant buses, adding another mere 3% to that number. In a city of 9 million people that has made rolling out the welfare welcome mat public policy for decades, regardless of its ability to pay for it all, population boost of 0.1% should be bearable. New York City already spends roughly $2.5 billion a year on homelessness, and yet the problem only gets worse. Adams is now begging Americans, you and me, for roughly $60,000 per new illegal in federal tax dollars. But he has no explanation for how that exorbitant sum would be justified. Eric Adams is clearly having a blast as mayor, and this week he was even caught on camera giggling like a middle schooler about somebody smoking pot next to his Times Square press conference. But his daytime reality is harsh. He's dealing with a mounting $90 billion public debt crisis and a real estate market teetering on the brink as office towers are still at a fraction of their pre-pandemic capacity. Businesses across the city are consolidating space due to hybrid work that is also straining support businesses from hotels and delis to high-end restaurants and retail shops. Crime, of course, is up substantially in virtually every major category. It's no wonder he spends his nights clubbing. But what New York needs, all cities need, is courage, not a clothes horse. When Governor Kathy Hochul and the legislature in New York failed to reform the cashless bail laws, Adams could have pulled his political support. He didn't. When Black Lives Matter threatened riots if he reinstituted the NYPD's wildly successful plainclothes street crimes unit, he folded like a cheap suit. When the Biden administration opened the border and started funneling illegals into New York, he could have demanded it stop, and he didn't. Back in the 1970s, during the period of urban decay, when New York was as much infamous as it was famous, the city was scrambling to deal with moral, social, and physical corrosion brought on by the explosion of the welfare state. The city was literally paralyzed to deal with the consequences. Today, however, if New York again becomes ungovernable, it will be due to willful blindness and outright cowardice. Eric Adams may be clearly enthralled by his own newfound celebrity. Reality, though, appears hard to handle for a man easily overwhelmed and often outraged, but more at home at the club than in City Hall.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
Let me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
For real people.